Hey guys! So, today I actually took some time, it's not midnight, I took some time to make a proper video of one specific topic that I really wanted to share. I have so much to share, but I'm always just busy with my days, and in the end, when I do a video at 12 o'clock at night, I'm just too tired to get into anything longer than just an update. So today I'm here bright and early. Well, not that it's dark, but it's not midnight. So, as I said in one of my previous videos, that my next one is gonna be me sharing about the history, about teeth, a little bit about the history of my teeth. I'm not gonna go into the detail, but basically they've been crumbling, and I've had quite a lot of heartache over this. And my children's teeth seem to be going the same way as mine, even actually worse. And I've had quite a road to try to figure it out and what's causing all this, because it's not just more brushing and less sugar, because I grew up in Estonia in the 80s, where we did not have so much sugar as we do now. In fact, we had very little sugar. If I would give so little sugar as I had as a child to my children now, people would just think that I'm depriving my children, because at least have to give them a normal amount of sugar, you know. But so it's not from the sugar, and I know from my daughter for sure it wasn't from the sugar, because she didn't, or raisins or none of those things. Anyway, so I've been studying about the teeth for myself, learning mouth health, how it's connected to gut health, all of those things from a physical perspective, and diet and all of these, which are amazing. But as I mentioned before, I believe that behind any illness, not only some illnesses or some things, but it's, behind literally anything, any misalignment in the body, any ailment, it's your mental, emotional state, and that's often connected to, your family, not so much the genetics you get, but, well, that as well, but also you inherit the state of being, you inherit your unresolved issues from your ancestral line. And so it's the ancestral line plus your own previous lives, your own karma, your own unfinished issues that you might be carrying or reflecting in this life, that you decided, I'm gonna resolve this now, or whatever. So it's an amalgamation, I believe. Of course, diet and lifestyle, your hydration, the pH that's in your mouth, and all of these things play a role. So specifically, I wanted to sit down with this girl that I know from Estonia. I'm not going to say her name now, because I didn't check with her. But if you check into the comments, I'll pin a comment after I check with her if she wants me to share her name. But she's public enough. She has her own Facebook page and stuff, so I'm sure it'll be fine. But at this moment, I'm not gonna mention anything about who she is. But basically, she is an amazing psychic. For me, seems like she has very clear connection. Like, she gets very accurate answers, and she also will actually say something. Sometimes I go to a psychic or a healer or even an astrologer, or there's so many different experiences. You're there, you listen for an hour or two, and you And later he was trying to explain to a friend, I'm trying to explain to my husband, I can't really repeat any of this because there's just no substance. There's no like, oh, this and this and this. It's just like a big word salad for an hour. And even though I believe those are good as well, because everything will shift your energy. And, if you let percolate those sessions as well. But anyway, this girl, I find this very clear. She uses her own psychic abilities when she does sessions. She might she uses tarot cards as a tool. She doesn't do specific like tarot card readings, but if she feels called, she'll clarify something with the cards. She has studied psychotherapy in the background as well, so combining many things there. And it's my third time having a session with her, so I didn't even know where we're gonna go, but all I knew, I wanted to bring this big topic of my teeth and my children's and where is it all coming from. I wanted to bring this to the table and go and dig the root cause of it, because I was getting very close to having another crown. I'm actually, it's my birthday next week. I'm turning 44, so I'm only young from that perspective to be losing your teeth and to have trouble, like, so I don't, well, crown doesn't mean losing your tooth yet, but it's, it's pretty much halfway there. So I'll quickly tell you my background. So with my teeth, I remember having cavities as long as I remember, at least in school. Don't remember going to dentist when I was younger than school age, but definitely in school. Back in Estonia in the 80s, it was Soviet Union time, and we had actually in the schools, we had a school nurse and a school dentist. There was actually a dentist in the school with the ability not only to check your teeth and then sending you to their dentist, but actually to fix teeth as well, like to treatment. So I remember already, I was quite young, like I was in a elementary school for sure, when I was already having my first cavities and first fillings. And by the time I was 20, in my early 20s, I pretty much had, all of my molars had fillings, and the wisdom teeth had fillings, and they already started to fall out and break. And then the dentist was like, well, we keep fixing, we can fix it again, but like, might as well just pull them out. Well, I was only 20. I was like, yeah, might as well. Now I would know better. I would not pull them out, for sure. Would try to keep them there and alive as long as possible. But anyway, I was like, yeah, I was like young, didn't know anything better. I was like, yeah, if you think so, might as well. Otherwise, I'll be coming back here, and then the fillings just keep breaking because I'm also clenching. I'm not grinding my teeth as such, I don't think. But even already in my early 20s, the dentist could see the wear on my teeth. So whenever they put a filling in, I'm just like clenching so tight in my sleep. If you're asleep, you're unconscious, so you can do a lot of clenching without it hurting you. Like you would notice and adjust yourself if you would do that in a waking life. So the clenching and then the teeth, and then over the years they've been fixing the same fillings, and every time the filling, they have to, if the old filling breaks, they have to take out the old filling and they have to prepare the cavity, and every time the filling gets bigger until I don't know, I'd say in my mid-30s I had my first crown, and then a second one, and then last year I had a very interesting thing going on with my crown. So I had this crown in May. It just fell off. I've had it for a couple of years, not too long. It just fell off. I was like, oh, that's odd, because it's not, they do fall off, but like it's not super common. I was like, okay, it's not like an old, like it's not like past its life expectancy. Luckily, the dentist, they have guarantee on them, so it was fixed under the guarantee, so it's not like, luckily I didn't have to pay for anything. But that was in May, and then I think maybe September, October, the crown fell off again and actually broke in half as it fell off. Otherwise you could just glue it back. Okay, that was fixed again. I had to get a new crown. And then before Christmas last year, it fell off again, the same tooth. And when I went into the appointment, they do the scanning in the mouth, like take photos, and then the computer is generating the crown to exactly fit and the size and everything. And probably some kind of a 3D printer it's printing it, or I don't know exactly. But that somehow they just generate this perfect crown that fits in top of your tooth perfectly and looks like your teeth. But this computer just didn't generate the tooth for me. Like, it generated the tooth, but it was obviously clearly too small. It was never gonna fit my mouth. You could see it. So the dentist was there figuring out, like, rebooting the computer and the systems and whatever, restarting the program, whatever he needed to do. He's like, oh, I don't know what's happening, but let's try to do the photos again. So he came and did the photos again, and the same thing. It was just completely refused to generate a crown for me. It's like, I literally never seen anybody losing the same crown three times, like in less than a year. And now the computer just has decided not to work. For me, this is not a sign that, oh, it's a bad dentist, he doesn't know how to glue the crown on properly. Or it's a bad practice, they have some cheap equipment that doesn't work. Because this is actually highly sought out after dentist. We don't have too many holistic dentists here in Dublin, so people literally, I travel an hour to go to my dentist, and depending on the traffic, an hour or an hour and a half could be to get back home. So I'm doing out of my way to go to this very well-known holistic dentist. This dentist actually has studied family constellation as well, and homeopathy, and always will recommend you some kind of, like, it's not doesn't sit down and do a proper homeopathic consultation with you, but will recommend you to use some homeopathy or go to a homeopath. So not only looking at the teeth, looking at the whole body, and understand the hydration, and always telling my kids to drink more water. Anyway, so my thinking wasn't like, oh, I just need a new dentist because this one doesn't know what he's doing. My thinking was like, why is the crown, like, there's an energetic reason in my mind, or something behind. If I look at the whole of my picture from my childhood, always the teeth keep breaking, and the fillings keep breaking. And I've done quite a lot. Actually, used to have a tongue tie as well. So my children had tongue ties. I got those released, and then as I was learning I had quite a learning curve, because with the first one, it took a while before we actually had to go to like a different provider to get it released, and then it was reattached and all of this. So I've gone through the roller coaster of tongue tie, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute, I have one. So I traveled from Dublin, I traveled to London, because there are doctors who do it here, but I was like, no, I'm just gonna go to I did my research. I'm like, okay, this is the best doctor to go to. So I just traveled to get my tongue tie released, which actually released a lot of the tension around my neck and my jaw. And then, yeah, my children started to have dental issues very early. And especially my first child, she was on the best. She was breastfed. She never had a bottle. She never had, like, she was baby-led weaning. I did baby-led weaning with her. I did not even give her like anything sugary or grain. Didn't even give grains first. So I just gave fruit and vegetables and like animal protein, like first meat, fish, eggs, good healthy fats, all of this. By healthy fats, I mean animal fats. So if you don't know about this, there's another rabbit hole for you to go down and learn about it, but this is not the video about fats. But basically, it's not like she was getting, you know, too many carbs or even not too much sugar, or she didn't have anything. She was maybe 2 when she first time had a piece of cake even. Probably she had probably some tastes here or there, but like it wasn't, she didn't get like rice cakes and all of those carby things even. So it was, because I had studied nutrition myself, so she was kind of very much like in an ancestral style of diet. And yeah, at 3.5 she still had completely, we went for a check, she had completely beautiful teeth, and by 4.5 she had like 19 cavities just spring up overnight. And we've been dealing with that stuff ever since. But somehow I have a feeling that whatever is going on energetically for them, but there's a big component of coming down my ancestry line. So anyway, this is what we wanted to, this is what I wanted to dig in with this psychic girl that I know, to just go and try to find this root cause of the teeth issues. And the children definitely getting it from my side, because my husband's family, they have all perfect teeth. But yeah, they don't have much space for them, but they're all healthy. I'm so jealous. My husband goes every few years for just a check and comes back, yeah, all good, not a bother. It's caused me like so much heartache as well, looking at children teeth just crumbling and pain and all, and the worry. And so finally I sit down with this psychic. I've actually done other psychic work in this topic as well, but I wanted to tell you about, this was now 2 days ago. And that was, so it was on Thursday, and on Friday morning I had my dentist appointment, where I had to go and fix a filling that was so big as well that the dentist already, and the last time it brought up that, okay, we'll fix it now, we'll see how it holds, but probably needs a crown, you know, it's probably heading that direction. And that filling only lasted about 6 months, and now it broke again. So I'm going in there. I was like, okay, I want to see this psychic before I make a decision, before I'm gonna say like, okay, we'll put a crown in, or is there something I can change, shift energetically, that we can just put in the filling that now this time will actually stay. So that was like 18 minutes just to even get into this session, but now I'm gonna get into my session with a psychic. So with this girl, you know, she'll use whatever tools she feels at the time. And this time, after we talked about the background and all of this, we went into quite a long and very deep hypnosis session. So she brought me into hypnosis. I was like, oh, I have to go and dig out my own answers. I was like, I want somebody to tell me. Like, can you not just see and tell me what's happening? It's okay. She made me do the work. Well, she was leading me. She was doing that work of holding and leading me, but I had to go and look around in my subconscious myself. So it was very interesting. It's quite typical. She brought me down on an elevator from 100 to 0. Then I went out of the elevator, and she's like, okay, there's a long corridor with lots of doors. You know, these doors, there's behind every door, like, you know, everything, all your past experiences, you know, past lives experiences, your ancestors' experiences, everything is in here. So, and you'll just go down, walk the corridor and find the door. You'll know which door it is. So I'll go into the door. All doors look the same. I'm like, I might as well go this way. So I went through some door, and I haven't done that much work in hypnosis much, and I'm not one who's channeling or talking to my angels or anything. So it's quite hard for me to trust what I see as well, and trust that when I open the door that I actually see something in there. So I'm like, all nervous inside. I'm like, oh, I'm just making all this up. uh, Even though, yeah, I know to trust it in my brain because I know how it works in my, consciously. But then still to go and do it and trust it, that when you open the door that there's actually something there. I opened the door, there was like nothing there. I was like, there's just a jungle here. So anyway, long story short, we were walking through the jungle and I came to a clearing and there was a house. It was like an old Irish cottage looking house. I went inside and there was just like, okay, is there anybody there? And there was like a granny, but it wasn't with the face of my actual granny. I felt it was a granny or from my father's side, but definitely not my actual granny. So an older, like great granny of from some time ago. And I'm going in, and I'm not going to go into too much detail how we're meeting and stuff, but basically I was then asking her. Actually, I noticed that she didn't have any teeth, and then I remembered actually my actual granny from my dad's side. She lived into her mid-80s, and she didn't have teeth from, I don't know, from 60ish onward. So I remember she was wearing dentures. But this was a different granny. I just made the connection. It's like, oh, actually my granny didn't have teeth. Quite young. Not super young, but she wasn't like, yeah, anyway. So this granny was there with no teeth. So we decided to ask what happened, like how come she doesn't have teeth. And basically she's like, I don't know, all my life I've just had bad teeth. They had to be pulled, they were breaking and they had to be pulled, I don't know why. And I'm trying to ask like, when did it start? And she's like, no, I always had it ever since my first teeth came in. They were just turning bad right away, getting broken, all of this. So we're going back, and then I realized that the problem, because we're asking like, what about your parents? And she's like, no, my parents' teeth were fine. So we realized like she is the original person, the first one that the teeth turned bad from. So we went back into in utero. So when I was asking what was the first incident or what happened to the teeth, and so she was in her mother's tummy when something happened. At this point I'm like, I don't even know what happened. And my psychic girl is asking me like, oh yeah, okay, see what actually happened. And I'm like, how can I know? Like, how can I know? But as I relax and go with it, so anyway, all this work, we figured out that what happened when that great granny of mine was in utero, her mother did not have much food. And not only that there was not much food, and there weren't actually minerals and nutrition to build good, healthy, strong teeth, we learned that the main problem there was fear of death. The mother was really afraid to lose the baby because she knows that there's no food. And actually I felt it was more not in her life, but it felt to me like it was like Irish famine, which was like, less than 200 years ago, about I think mid 1800s, or gonna like, I think I'd say 1845, 1850, there was this big famine here in Ireland. The population, so many people died, so many people had to leave Ireland just to survive because there was no food here. So I kind of felt it was, the fear came from seeing people actually dying around her, and babies not developing right or not surviving at all, or stillborn, or then starving later. So even if they are like born alive, they'll end up dying, because just there was no food. So but the culprit was the fear of baby death rather than the actual lack of food. So we found that, and that actually made the mother, the fear made her clench her teeth, and then the baby felt the fear, and the baby was having a lot of tension around her mouth, and it was actually the clenching and the energy couldn't move there, and physically, like the blood circulation wasn't great, because this clenching was just causing this stagnation in there. But it was mostly energetically then blocked, and that kind of stopped the teeth developing well. And whenever they came in, then they came in, not strong enough. Anyway, so my God, that session was about 2 hours long, so it was quite a long session. So we spent a lot of the time there transmuting that energy. So I kind of like appeared to that great grandmother who was pregnant, in her dream, just to hold her, just to tell her that to relax, because the baby is survived. That's a fact. I'm here. The baby not only survived but also lived. When I met the first granny, then when I went into that cottage, that granny was in her 80s, or at least looked like was in the 80s. Was old looking, very old looking. So we spent so much time calming down that mother's nervous system, saying that, baby, it's a fact, your baby survived, will survive, did survive. And yeah, I'm not gonna even gonna go into that too detailed, but basically we were sitting there a long time. We brought food for this mother. I had some aha moments, some connections in my head, but basically I was just there changing that energy and releasing that fear. And what is interesting, actually, there was a lot of moments of quiet as well in our session, when I was just sitting in this energy, and I could feel just energy, movement, and buzzing in my own lips and the jaw. And at some point there was even like a little like micro shaking in my jaw, like, and my teeth were clattering, like, but very, very gently, like you couldn't hear it. It's not like massively, freezing cold, but it is kind of like freezing cold. But it was kind of, I suppose, the tension, something was moving away and shifting. So it was a very interesting experience. Yeah, a lot of energy shifting happened. So we were gonna had an intention to change the cellular memory as well about it. So a lot of deep work done. Some of you might listen to this and think it's a mumbo jumbo, and this is fine. It's not for everybody. Not everybody has to solve their physical issues that way. I know plenty of people who just keep going and filling their teeth, and they just accept that's the way it is. I am believing all that mumbo jumbo anyway. So, but yeah, like everything, I take it with a pinch of salt. But let's see. The girl was taking some cards as well, to every now and then, to confirm something. Not when I was in a deep in my deep unconscious, but before and after when we were talking about things. So she said that there's a strong ancestral link why the teeth are like they are. So I think we're gonna find that. And she said there's another hook, quite a big hook, which is more related to my past lives, but we decided that we're gonna let this one to settle, and we're gonna leave it for a while, and then we're gonna do some more work and find what else is there. But anyway, next day in the morning I went to see my dentist. My dentist was, I told him about my mumbo jumbo work, digging in family history, which I knew that he's okay with. So I said, okay, let's not put if it's okay, let's not do the crown now. Let me do this work, and so we'll see, can this tooth be saved? The psychic girl was asking from the cards, like I was asking, what about this specific tooth? Will it survive with just a filling, or am I better just to accept that I'm gonna have a crown and not to drag this thing out? But the cards didn't answer. She said like, it's not my place to say here. Let's see. Suppose I haven't done the work yet. So it depends on me. Am I doing it or am I not? So anyway, at the moment then, I have a temporary filling. I have time about a month and a little bit more than a month. So yeah, let's see. It's interesting because it's such a chronic, long-term thing working with teeth. I'm not gonna see any tangible results. This girl was actually asking me like, how do I feel? How are my teeth? I was like, there's nothing to feel because I actually don't have pain. And all of my teeth, I don't have actually tooth pain. Even I don't really know about bad tooth pain because they just break and I don't even know that they're broken. Like, oh, I have had some pain here and there, but even this tooth, there's no pain. So it's not like something measurable. I can see, oh, now I have less pain. Or if you have some kind of inflammatory or skin issue or gut IBS or something, you can see the symptoms changing, shifting quite quickly. But I can only, whatever work I do now, and let's say we decide together with my dentist that we're gonna put, and if it's possible, we're just gonna put a new filling in instead of a crown. I can only say in retrospect, let's say 5 years later, I'm like, last 5 years, I have no more new cavities. None of my cavities have broken, and even this new one that we are doing now, which then will be 5 years old, I can say like, oh, it's been 5 years already and it's still holding strong. Only in retrospect like this I can say, did any of this work do anything? Yeah, it's quite frustrating because you can't see anything. It's not like I can feel anything different, or because even the clenching, I don't have like DMJ pain or anything. I don't feel my jaw being tired, or sometimes a little bit, but it's not like, sometimes I feel like I'm tired and I know like I've been clenching, but I could only like ever see and figure out that I'm clenching from the dentist telling me my teeth are worn, and they keep, ever since I was in my early 20s, late teens, they were like, you're grinding your teeth. I'm like, no, I don't. No, you are. Like, I can see the damage is here. You're grinding your teeth. But I wasn't, because I was sharing the room with my sister many times. Like, we had our own rooms, but we often decided I wanted to be in the same room. And then sharing room, like so many room sharing. And now with my husband, like if I would grind my teeth, somebody sometime would have heard me grinding my teeth, but it's not a thing. Like, nobody, like, even asked my husband. It's like, do I? Well, back in the day I was asking my sisters, like, did you ever hear me? But yeah, it's more quiet. It's clenching rather than grinding. Anyway, this is my tooth story and my story with the psychic trying to dig out the root cause. of this, because I'm like so tired of this teeth breakage. So hopefully, like in this work, if I gonna break this cycle, break the chain here, it's actually the quickest way that I will see the improvement, or that I've done something in the lineage, or changed something, is when my children stop having teeth breaking. Because their milk teeth, they are breaking down much quicker. So the deterioration I've seen in my children's teeth is much faster than me with my adult teeth. So let's see. That's all I can say. Wait and see. Do some more work with this girl soon enough. In a few weeks' time, I'd say. And yeah, all I can do is just go for it. Try to figure it out. Whether I do, whether it means nothing or it means something, it's yet to be seen. Well, fingers crossed that it's doing something. And I know, there's the whole stress and the environment and the light exposure and all of those things are the physical things you can help your teeth as well. And like light therapy and lots of things. But yeah, if you're gonna unhook those big anchors that are running in the ancestral line, or you're coming through from your previous lives, then I believe that this deterioration can be stopped. Well, that's me anyway. That's my beliefs. That's the craziest shit I do. Not a medical advice to go to a psychic instead of a dentist. See, I'm actually also going to a dentist who is half psychic himself. Anyway, that was my today's check-in. See you tomorrow. Have a good day or good night, wherever you are.